Welcome to Numb Bills Fan Podcast. I'm your host, David Palermo. This is podcast number 199. And on the line, we have Mike Smith. You can find him on Twitter at FantasySmitty. And the Buffalo Bills are going into Green Bay to play the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. And, they don't really play there much. So it should be interesting. Micah Hyde going back to the Packers. See what kind of damage the Buffalo Bills can do. And, Bills just came off of a hot win against the Vikings. Surprise. And Josh Allen hurled out of the roof of the Minnesota Vikings Stadium. So, if you missed it. So, as always, Numb Bills Fan on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And this podcast is brought to you by Punch Drunk Sports. Can't wait to get into it. And stay tuned. We're going to get this rolling. Well, all you do is talk, dude.
I know.
All right, well, shit is recording. It's already on. So you want to get rolling or?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, well, the music's on in the background right now. You don't hear it because it's muted. So.
There you go. Way to fucking cue me.
Yeah, you done with your bullshit, Mike?
I'm still emotionally distraught, but yeah.
Okay. I don't know why you're so fucking mad.
I didn't say I was mad. I said I was emotionally distraught.
Okay.
All right. Let's continue.
All right. I mean, okay. So.
Anyone in there?
So after watching the game tape, Mike, what are your thoughts of the Bills going into Minnesota and strangleholding them and fucking them in the ear with their little pricks?
Well, Dave, after I didn't watch that because life events.
Oh, so you lied to the audience? We expected your big fucking breakdown. I know Jeff Knight is disappointed. He really looks forward to your bullshit fantasy football perspective, as you saw on Instagram.
Look, Jeff Knight can just eat one because look, this happens. I mean, when you have so many good players, you can't be correct all the time. And if there were any other gurus out there that were saying to bench Minnesota Viking players, like they were lying because no one was just like, oh my God, the Bills defense is about to show up and show out and just shut the whole thing down.
Right. But, yeah, I know you saw it coming. You called it. You're like, you know what? I see the Bills dropping like 40 points, so they're actually going to hold the fuck up. You know what I mean? In the second half, they ain't going to do shit.
Yeah, because, my big play of the weekend was, let me bench Josh Allen, start Sam Bradford, and cut Hauschka and add whatever his name, Thickens. Is it Thickens? Yeah, it looks like a Thickens. So I literally just destroyed that team. I benched freaking Adrian. Anything I did Sunday morning was just obligatory to my team, just destroyed it. I don't even know if I was using that word right, but maybe I was.
Are you saying that you're having second thoughts on giving fantasy football advice? Because maybe
the funny thing is,
all right.
I got my buddy over here, Mike, and he's 2-1 because his second week, he just played someone that was really good that week, and they put up a stack of points, and his team is stacked and it's prime. Like he's got one of those great teams where the best team to have in fantasy is where you know who your starters are every week. Like when you have X players that are all in the same group, it is the worst thing. For the fantasy realm. That's why I happen to like the best ball league.
Mike.
I'm tangenting.
Mike, what happens if I fall asleep on my own podcast here? Like, what? Like, is that possible?
Like, possible, dude. Hey, dude. All right.
Do you want to talk about different naps that like rollers leave? Like how much you might like a half inch over a 3/8 nap roller? Like
speaking of naps,
hide some shit.
When I used to be on the road, I was a vehicle napper. So
what were you on the road for?
When I worked, when I was out there, in between jobs, I'd get I get a little, tired and
carnival action. You probably ran the gun where you throw the squirt gun into the pig.
Well,
that was one of my favorite games, the carnival.
Just
Carnival,
lay back in the truck, take a nice nap, 30, 40 minutes,
Dude, who would have thought you would have cleaned up from a carny to fucking shaving your beard off and giving fantasy football advice on a podcast weekly? You know what I mean?
It's clean too, and I look young though. That's the thing.
Dude, you're ready to drop your fucking nuts on anything that walks right now. You're ready. I don't blame you. I would shave my face too.
I'm holding back, okay, because obviously I have better things.
Yeah, dude, you're really focused, and you just have a game face, and it's like they say about football players, they gotta want it, they gotta love football. You gotta love it.
Getting back to actual football talk now that we just
So anyways, all right. So since you suck at leading the show, I'll hold your hand and shove it up my ass and fucking have you sniff your fingers and let's go with this. So anywho, why don't I give this a shot? You've already wasted 6 fucking minutes of my time. So anyways, you fucking prick. I love you more. So all right, listen, Mike, on the real, okay. I still stand by what I said on the last podcast after the game, and either 53 players started doing the right fucking thing, or a handful of coaches made a bunch of fucking adjustments. And I'm gonna go with the latter, and also players stepped the fuck up. And I'm still thoroughly impressed with our Buffalo fucking Bills, because I have been, and you have been, not hammering. I don't want to say we've been hammering on them saying they're going to suck. That's not hammering. It's just being objective in doing math and giving an honest output. And I did not expect them ever to have a performance like that. But we even joked about it. It's like, I kind of want to put money on the Bills on this one. If there's a game to put money on it, I want to put on the Bills. They're not that... They're bad, but Trent Murphy's still injured. You had another quarterback, Josh Allen, come in halfway through the first game. Second game, I don't, you know what I mean? Phillip Rivers, that dude's just a savage, and Edmonds was exposed, but they just seem to get their shit together, against Minnesota. That said, Minnesota only didn't even run the ball more than I think 4 times or something crazy like that to Latavius Murray. So what are your thoughts after sitting on the game, and then will lead us into Green Bay? But
I may not have done the breakdown myself, but I did, look at someone else's breakdown of the game and Josh Allen's performance, and essentially, Josh Allen had a good game. However, he did not go over the middle of the field. So what we know about NFL and adjustments, it's easy to go out there and sling it all over the field, your first time. But the next week, that team is going to watch what you did, and they're going to see where you were able to succeed, and then they're going to see where you didn't. And he did not do anything over the middle of the field. So what they're going to say is, okay, we're going to guard the sidelines. We're going to guard the underneaths. If you're going to beat us, you're going to have to go over top, which he did have that nice throw. I mean, unfortunately, Foster dropped it. And you're going to have to go over the middle. So we're going to see, is he able to do that, this early? Can he make the adjustments as a quarterback? Because as a quarterback, too, you too have to make those adjustments. So, the one positive thing I think that the Bills definitely have rolling for them, and regardless of what Josh Allen does and the offense is able to scheme up, Packers, they're not exactly a, superpower on defense, and they're struggling offensively, even with, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, because he himself doesn't have the protection and the players around him. So the 9.5 points, I feel, coming off of last week when there were 17 points underdog, is a little disrespectful, but that's where it's at 9.5 for a reason, and that's because people are betting against the Bills. They're saying this was a fluke, and that's why the number is so high, because the number would have dropped if people had jumped on, the Buffalo bandwagon, and they haven't. So that defense, though, is what I mentioned prior to the season, and I've said it on tweets. I said we're going to have a good defensive back, possibly the best in the NFL, group-wise. And, if they can do what they did, and based on the numbers, Jerry Hughes was the most efficient or had the highest defensive rating of the week last week. If they can replicate that intensity and fire, if they do that again, and again, they're not playing a powerhouse offensive line where that front four, they may be able to do similar things. You're talking, it could be a game, in Lambeau Field. The only thing, my concern is not so much with the defense, because I think the defense is going to keep them in games. Josh Allen last week had the luxury, and it is definitely a luxury in the NFL. If you score a touchdown and then on your next, the defense then just puts you in field goal range, 2 consecutive scores, just bam, you're already in scoring range. That's a luxury in the NFL. It doesn't happen a lot. It really doesn't. I'm pretty sure very low percentage there. If they don't have that, are they able to perform as well offensively? Because last week the game plan was very nice. So it's going to be interesting to see how, they put together a game and it was effective and it worked last week. Can they do it again?
So check it out. From all accounts, people think the Vikings are a better team than the Packers, and it is football, and we've seen it so many times where it's like this team beat this team, so we should beat this team, and yada yada yada. And shit just happens. But Aaron Rodgers' knee thing, he's actually looking better than not. From the latest reports of what I heard today on the radio. So, you might be able to run on the Packers. Muhammad Wilkerson is out, and he might miss the whole 2018 season. Mike Pettine, the former Bills defensive coordinator, is over there. So I always thought that even Pettine's defenses were really easy to run on, really easy to get rushing yards, even though they would get to the quarterback. They had a problem stopping the run. So I don't know. I think, believe it or not, dude, that Vikings game just takes everything and just dumps it on the head for us. And it's like, okay, what do we have here? We have some chemistry. Aaron Rodgers is out or is slow. You have, is it 1 or 2 offensive linemen out? I totally forgot.
Well, the thing is with the Packers, and this is where, they're not doing well. Aaron Rodgers is almost throwing 40 passes a game. And, he was 27 of 44 for 265 yards and 2 touchdowns. Yeah. Well,
you know what I mean?
For the season, he's thrown 116 passes. So that puts him at 38.3 passes a game. And that's a lot. If you're throwing that much, that is not beyond what happened week 1. If the Bills defense is doing what they're doing, the last thing you want to do is throw it 38 times, because you're going to put your quarterback in jeopardy, because they definitely can get to the quarterback. And then you're going to allow, the defensive backs to, make a play. It's just probability at that point. You know what I'm saying? So, you mentioned he's due. So, the last time he played Buffalo wasn't very good for him. So
no, I was at that game. It was awesome to see the Green Bay Packers lose, and then Scott Campbell, the kid I sit next to that talks mad shit to us on fucking Twitter, he's like, oh, they're gonna go to Oakland and lose, and I'm like, why do you say that shit? And then they did, and that's when Oakland was pretty bad, and they did. But hey, a little fun fact here. So, according to Pro Football Focus, Josh Allen took an average of 3.36 seconds to deliver passes in his first start. Last week, he got the ball out in about 2.4 seconds.
Okay, now that is the coaching adjustments, because you notice.
But that last stat was from Eric Wood at The Athletic. So, 2.4 seconds.
I mean, if it's from Pro Focus through Eric Wood, that's one thing. But that just shows to the game plan that they had. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's the NFL. You got to get the ball out of your hands, and you got to be able to make quick reads. So, like I said, are they going to be able to make adjustments? Are they going to be able to do that again? So, we're gonna find out real early on Sunday if things are going to go well for the Buffalo Bills.
Well, Ryan Bulaga is battling a back injury, and Byron Bell is going to replace Justin McCray while he recovers from an injury as well. So I don't know, man. Jerry Hughes looks fucking on fire. If he's not going for strip sacks, he'd have more sacks. Lorenzo Alexander is just so between the ears, so fucking smart. And, like, my favorite dude to watch right now, frankly. I just love the vets that, like him, that just, do whatever. He's the perfect student, man. He's the perfect player. He really is.
You know who made the biggest jump from one week to the next? It was actually both the rookies. I mean,
what are you talking about? How's Matt Milano getting Defensive Player of the Week for the AFC? Something like that, or at least the AFC East?
He did, and like I said, that with him being so efficient, Jerry Hughes being efficient, and Edmonds, his performance from the prior week to last week, day and night, like, he looked like a lost child. Just now, his athleticism, he was running all over the field against the Chargers, but he looked lost. They were manipulating him. They were moving him around. They were just putting him in all sorts of problems. But last week, he was able to hold his own. So, if that front seven can perform like this the rest of the year, I mean, you're talking they're going to have a shot to win every game they play, because defense wins. If they're turning the ball over and, like I said, they keep on getting to the quarterback, they're going to put their team in very good positions to be competitive and potentially steal a game here and there against, better teams with more athletic talent, especially, obviously we know about the inept offense that, Buffalo has based on, player personnel.
I'll tell you what, dude, if the Buffalo Bills can just, like, I don't know, let me backpedal. I felt weird. Deacon and I did the podcast in the beginning during Rex Ryan's tenure, and we were like such homers about the team. And it was kind of like, I wish we started the podcast like a year earlier when we were like railing on Marone, because my tone was more like this. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Have you watched tape? This and that. And I doubt they listen to our podcast. They know what they're fucking doing over there. They know that coaching lifespans are short in any major sport, and I think whatever communication happened between the coaches and the players, that drastic of an improvement against a team that is not a fucking joke, and the Vikings, you gave me a lot of hope. Like Josh Allen, I told you the whole time, you could package any of the top 6 quarterbacks in the draft, I will support them. It's all about what did you give up to get them. That said, the offensive line with Bodine in there at center was night and day, dude. It was night and day. And Vlad Dukas, he's been a punch-a-bag, as he was called by Joe Buscaglia last week, to Bills fans. Like, dude, Joe Buscaglia or Vlad Dukas has been fine. Like, absolutely fine. And, it's just that the scary part about the team is, Mike, the first two, and I'll put it back to you, is like the first two games is they came out so fucking shot. It's like, what did you do all offseason? Now, I did not expect them to have a bounce back game, and this Green Bay Packers game is really going to be. It's another good timing opportunity. They have a couple of injuries, a key injury to Rodgers, Jerry Hughes, and is coming off the edge like a monster. Shaq Lawson, I believe, is a little bit healthier. And it's like, I don't know, man. Harrison Phillips is solid. The linebackers have been pretty consistent. Now, game 2, they're a little rough. But, dude, the Bills can really take this game. And I want nothing more than these coaches to figure it out. Leslie Frazier, the defensive coordinator for the Bills, he knows that division. And Micah Hyde, and don't sleep on that, because Jim Schwartz was the coach of the Bills on defense. And the year he was here in Buffalo, they swept the NFC North. They swept all 4 teams in the NFC North that year. So do not underestimate Leslie Frazier and them knowing personnel. And even though he hasn't been with the Vikings in a long time, Micah Hyde's been on the Packers. They know what they run, So I don't know. How do you feel about it? Do you feel the Bills can do some damage? And it was really interesting not seeing McCoy in hindsight to see how this offense ticks, and I just hope they do what they do and feel no pressure to get him the ball. Just do what you do.
Well, I don't know who mentioned it, and I was watching something, and they said that it was probably more beneficial that McCoy wasn't there. And to a certain extent, I agree with them. He went on to say that, by not having McCoy to rely on, they had to change up the offensive game plan.
Right.
So, my perspective on that is it did work out very well for them on Sunday, but can they incorporate him to be as effective as he can be and also not disrupt what they have going on in the offense? I don't want them to fall back into the rut where we have to give the ball to LaShawn McCoy. We have to run. Because, anytime you play a game, it's not you should never go into the contest with the idea that you have to do anything. Okay? The idea is always to be, we will do what the defense is going to allow us to do. If they're going to allow us to run the ball down their throat for 200 yards, we will run the ball down their throat for 200 yards. If they're going to stack the box and say, you will not run today, you will have to throw the ball and beat us in the air, then we will beat you in the air. Okay, so
I feel like that's what Bill Belichick does, and then I'll shoot it back to you. It's he's done he's either smoked mad weed, done a bunch of acid or some mushrooms or something, and then just oh, I get it. I shouldn't be so attached to these fucking players, and they should just what are their strengths? Let's have them fall in line, and this is what we're gonna do, and this is the best play for the chess move. You know what I mean? And it's I feel like good coaches don't really run on emotions all the time. You know what I mean?
No, you can't be emotional because, when your emotions are high, you're not making good decisions. You're making decisions based on your emotions, and our emotions lie to us all the time. Emotions are uncontrollable. They just destroy you. So if the Bills can make the adjustments that they need to make, right now the Green Bay Packers are not playing well. This is a good, the NFL is one of those funny leagues, and other leagues are like that too, where if you meet an opponent at the right time,
timing is everything, man.
You can capitalize. And right now they don't have their stuff together. And the Bills are looking like they have more of it together, based on last week's performance. But again, like I said, it's the adjustments. And when I mentioned the first 4 games, that was a tough first 4 games. 3 games on the road. The home game was against the Chargers. I said there's a chance the Bills could come out of here with 2 wins. If they come out with the 2 wins, the next couple of games are, far more favorable. They have Tennessee at home, Houston on the road, Colts on the road,
Dude, it's a different it's a different season to me now that they beat Minnesota. Like, Tennessee looks really practical. Indianapolis looks really practical. Freaking Andrew Luck can't even throw the ball more than like 31 yards, I think.
Yeah. Well, that was, the coach, Frank Wright said that he's not concerned with his his arm strength right now, but obviously that was a lie because he is concerned. There's no way they would have you don't pull your quarterback to put a backup in to throw Hail Mary. Like, the only reason why you would do that is if you think the quarterback that you had in the game can't throw it there. You know what I mean? That doesn't make any sense. Or you think that puts too much strain on his arm or something. So clearly he doesn't have, his full arm strength. Now, that said, the Bills don't play them for another month. So he could get that arm strength back.
I don't know. I don't think he's going to, man. He's been taking his rehab. It seems not slow, but like how Gronkowski a few years ago took his time. This might be the season that he gets acclimated back to football, but he might not be back to Andrew Luck until next year. The Bills gotta take out the Texans. They gotta take out the Titans. They gotta get these wins, and they got to get these AFC wins and start stacking them.
It's not the AFC wins. You have to win if you want to be a playoff contender and you want to make it to the playoffs every year and you want to have a shot at that elusive Lombardi trophy. You have to beat teams you're supposed to beat. In a hypothetical world, if the Bills turn their game around, their intensity, yada yada yada, and they're 2-2, at that point, going into those games, they're supposed to win. They're, at that point, the better team. And when you're the better team, you're supposed to win games. If you're not winning the games you're supposed to win, and you're only 50-50 on the other games, you're not getting anywhere in the NFL. You have to win the games against the lesser team. So, and, when I look forward in the schedule, you don't want to look too far down the road, we still get to play the Jets twice, who mentioned this about Sam Darnold. As you know, Sam Darnold likes to throw interceptions, and he's throwing a lot of interceptions. So we're going to get to still see him twice. You get the Dolphins 2 times in the last 5 weeks. So, and obviously that last game is going to be a chilly one, December 30th. You enjoy that game, baby. Maybe I'll make a trip up there that day. I don't know. It's going to be cold and tickets might be cheap.
So, thoughts on Kelvin Benjamin? You go with it. What are you saying? Give me your honest assessment. What are you saying? Seeing from the guy.
He's not using his hands. It's pretty simple. Like, he's not using his hands. He is using his body, and you don't catch the ball with your body. If you catch the ball with your body, you're going to drop it a lot. So if he doesn't get his hands in position, this is not something that's just going to go away. I've said this. I've tweeted it. I've looked at the numbers, the metrics. According to the numbers, the efficiency, the higher metrics, Zay Jones is opened more often. He's just not getting enough targets. He needs more targets. He's got the highest catch rate among the receivers on the team, with anyone with, more than, 9 targets or 8 targets or whatever.
He's on the field more than any receiver.
He is on the field more than any receiver, yet he doesn't lead the team in targets. So
remember that Sandlot ball we were talking about, by the way? Not to cut you off, but to cut you off. Remember we were talking about the whole Sandlot shit?
Yeah.
Man, dude, that really came to fruition. And then whoever was calling the game, I was listening to John Murphy there as you're talking about that.
Well, yeah, it's one of those things like when a play breaks down, what to do. And a lot of great quarterback wide receiver combinations, they're on the same page when the play breaks down. You know what I mean? And, right now Zay is young and Allen is young, but if they can start making that connection, like I said, based on the numbers, the metrics, what I've seen in film, Zay Jones is open. He is just not getting Like, I think that because Josh Allen can only make so many reads, he's not Aaron Rodgers. He's not reading the field like a pro yet, or Tom Brady, or we could go down the line. He's not reading the field fast enough, so he is making throws to decent options. And I'm not saying some of the passes to Kelvin Benjamin are bad. Like, Kelvin Benjamin's a huge guy. Like, he can shield off a defender without any problems. The problem is he's not catching the ball.
What is, like, seriously, man? Like, what? Who's the receiver that was cut from Tennessee? I'm drawing a blank. I want to bring him up today.
Matthews.
First name?
Rishard.
Now,
when was he cut?
He was like cut, or they're going to cut him if they did. Yeah,
Rishard Matthews.
Yeah, should the Bills go after him?
See, that's one of those
because
things.
They were saying that, like, he was complaining that he wasn't part of the offense and yada yada yada, and it's like, come to fucking Buffalo, dude.
He missed camp. He was injured.
Okay.
He came off and it's one of those things. If you're not developing a rapport, he's had one of those plagued injury histories. If you're not developing a rapport with the quarterback is going to look to the most reliable person, unless his play calling and the design of the play pushes him elsewhere. But beyond that, they're going to look to their most reliable player. And if you're not on the field, you're not going to be that guy. So, it's not something that I would say no to, but I don't think he's not an elite wide receiver. It's not like had the Bills traded a 5th round pick and got Josh Gordon. I'm pretty sure all of Buffalo would have gone nuts if the Buffalo said, you know what, we'll give you a 4th rounder for Josh Gordon. I mean, I don't think Josh Gordon would have liked it. He'd be like, fuck. And, it's funny with Josh Gordon because, I don't know what happened, and I'm sure we'll eventually find out why they were going to release him. And the fact that they made that public, which was bizarre, man, he lost the opportunity to play with Baker Mayfield. And Baker Mayfield, I'm telling you right now, Baker Mayfield's going to be Rookie of the Year, okay? So Vegas believes it, I believe it, and, I talked to Vegas, so we're on the same page.
Mike, man, there's a couple people that I listen to talk, and I might have to agree with Jeff Knight, and he might agree with me on this. I don't know, man. After taking in the collected data for 8-9 years knowing you, you might fall in the category that if you say Baker Mayfield's going to be MVP,
that he's going to get hurt or something bad.
No, I'm not going to be a horrible fucking person, Mike. I'm just going to say it's just not going to happen.
Look.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield's going to get his kneecaps fucking shot out by his dog.
I may be a terrible gambler, and that's why I have so many problems in my life right now. And I'm terrible at gambling in the sense of gambling, because any gambler knows it's easy to pick a winner, but when you get in too deep, and actually it's funny, who is it, Murph, or who's the daytime show, Carl Falk or whatever? Carl Falk said on the radio, he's like, if you're betting a halftime over and under, you got a problem. And I was there, so I did have a problem. But if you asked me and you picked my pick for the last 8 Super Bowls, you would have won 6 out of 8 straight up. Okay? And you already know that most of the people that won those Super Bowls were underdogs. So I'm just a bad gambler, but I could tell you certain times when a pick's a pick. And right now, I have seen all the quarterbacks. I watched their tapes in college. I've watched them in the preseason, and I've watched them in the NFL. Baker Mayfield is a special player.
Yo, I agree with you, and there's a reason I'd have you bring the quarterback. Like, I do trust your judgment on that stuff, but all ball busting aside, I find it like, I won't say you necessarily, but I will say a couple people I know. I don't want to air one out right now, but
air them out, man. This is what it's all about.
I don't want to be a dickhead, but like, yo, on the real,
be a little Richard, Dave. That's what we call it. It's called a little Richard.
When people, let's just say this, when people go, have you even watched a college game with them? And I go, no, I haven't. But I know that, like, there's about 10 other fucking places that have analytically broken this down that do know what the fuck they're talking about more than you do. And I will go listen to them because I can watch them on the tape all I want. I might not notice that, like, they didn't step in the correct fucking direction at first glance. You know what I mean? Or whatever the fuck they're supposed to do. I don't know. But there's a lot of people obsessed with it, and they put their information on called the interwebs, and then I gather that information and go, here's what I think. Hey, Mike, what have you heard? And you go, David, I actually think this. And I go, huh? And then I hear what other people say, and then I come up with what's called my fucking opinion. So when I hear from other people, oh, I watched the tape, it's like, yeah, okay, and you've also said a bunch of bullshit too. You know what I mean? Like, so, when people tell me that, usually I'm just like in one ear, out the other. And it's like, there's these certain words or fucking guys when they want to sound serious about like football, and it's like tape, and they start saying the word guy, and it's like, oh no, he's just a football guy. All right. He's just a football guy. It's like all of a sudden they get like fucking little southern accent.
When you say I'm going to watch tape, you have to know what to be watching for. You know what I mean?
But there's a lot of these amateur scouts and fans that they say that shit, and they're online blabbing a bunch of fucking second-rate bullshit.
Because there's certain things like, I watch film and I watch tape. There's certain things that I myself don't even know what to look at, like, especially when it comes to offensive and defensive line. It's like a realm, I can see, like,
we don't know what they're asked to do, first of all. You know what I mean?
And that's one thing it is, but at the same time, I don't know exactly what to look for certain positions, so I don't even comment on it. But I do know, route running, the ability to see holes for running backs. Like, because you see running backs coming out of, college, and they're like, yo, this guy's going to be the next big thing. And then, for whatever reason, you can watch the tape. And in college, it's harder to see because
there's only like a couple guys on each side of the ball who could possibly be NFL players in D1.
It's the discrepancy in talent that is the problem that's hard when you watch college film, because you're like, wow, this guy was tearing it up in college. You're like, well, when you're running behind the Alabama line and you're playing Chattanooga, obviously, I could throw my grandmother out there and she's going to be able to get past the line of scrimmage.
I love that you mentioned that, because I feel like with Alabama especially, it's like, man, Nick Saban must be fucking pounding so many moms. Okay, because, like, that dude gets these kids to show up to Alabama, and it's like, how fair is it when you get the biggest motherfuckers you can find to come play for your fucking school? Because you're Nick fucking Saban, pull my prick out.
The thing
Saban. And like, like you said, you can run behind that Cowboys cocaine line making fucking holes the size of fucking your road. You know what I mean? Like...
And that's the thing. And once you reach the NFL, you have to be able to literally see the field. Like, vision is huge. And that's why I was upset when Darius Geis got hurt, because he too was a talented player. So unfortunately he is not here to entertain us, and freaking Adrian Peterson's ruined my fantasy team.
I got a good one for you. You ready for it, dude? Check this, because I got to cut you off. So, I didn't think about it too much, but I should have realized we were fucked when CJ Spiller, his rookie year after his first preseason game, goes, oh, damn, the defensive... They go, so what do you think about your first game? Damn, the defensive ends can keep up. It's like, oh, God. Oh God.
Exactly.
Oh
that
God. I was
a
like,
point where
oh
he
fuck,
like,
this is not R2 hit the edge turbo spiller. Fuck CJ, man. Come on, dude. Come on. I'm like, no. Wrong guy. Wrong guy.
No, and that's the difference between the NFL. Like the NFL is the elite of elite. In college, you got to figure if you took all of the NFL players, you divide them amongst, for the majority, it would be your top 5 conferences. Well, even in your top 5 conferences, how many teams you got? You got over 50. So now you have all these players divided amongst those teams, and then a whole bunch of them are scattered in the non-conference, in the mid-majors. So, you're not going to have – you're going to be so much better than the person across the field from you. That you really stand out in college. Now, that scheme-wise, the hardest thing is for quarterbacks. Like, for most of the other positions, if you're able to show out in college against elite talent, you'll be fine. But for the quarterback, it's different because the scheme and the defensive quality that you see in college. So they're making one reads. They're typically, more often than not, they're in shotgun. They're not under center much. They're not making multiple reads. There's very few teams that run pro style offense.
You know what's funny about that, dude? You know what's funny about all this fucking shit? Is like we all worry about that in the off season or in draft time and all this shit. And then how many kids come in and they start, and the only rookie this year not starting is obviously the kid on the fucking Steelers. And he wasn't even an early pick, 3rd round pick. And Lamar Jackson of the Ravens. Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Well, yeah. So, like, what I'm saying, Mike, is like, I agree with that point, and I did too. But we also have Nate fucking Peterman, who's in a pro-style offense, and that was his whole thing. And, like, he was ready to be a second-round pick, and he went into 5th, and he fucking shit on himself multiple times.
I know that you're a Nate Peter hater. But if Nathan Peterman
I'm gonna fucking hang up, dude.
If Nathan Peterman got to play, if he got to play game 3, it would be completely different than the first half of game 1.
You know what some of the best words I ever heard in my life were?
What?
And still are?
What, Nathan Peterman's benched?
No. What? A great man once said, you got to earn the right, all right? And Nathan Peterman did not earn the right to even finish any fucking game he started. And I said it, and I will remind you again, like every podcast, I don't know why he's on the team and how they are not upgrading from the fucking position. That said, Mike.
Who would you get?
Look, I'm not going to get into it right now. I'm not wasting any more of your time. Let's get into the important things like our future as a Bills fan with this great Josh Allen character and him hurdling over motherfuckers. Like, Josh Allen played with heart. I'm so fucking stoked. Like, his arm is awesome. And you want to talk about accuracy? I want to talk about guys catching the fucking ball, dude. Again, back to Kelvin Benjamin. Like, yo, Kelvin Benjamin, buddy, dude, I know you're not listening, but when you are, I know it's hard. I'm not a player. I don't have the pressure like you do. But I'm telling you, like, I played some music in my past, and I played in front of, like, whopping crowds of, like, 18 and 17 people. So, like, from somebody with, like, some experience myself, and also a guy who wrestled and got pinned a lot in a singlet, you know what I mean? I lost a lot, yo, like a lot. I fucking blew it wrestling, but I fucking stayed strong, and I went out there and I got fucking pinned, and I looked at the lights a lot, all right? And nothing like the girls in school, Dave, like, oh my God, you're fucking here? Why are you here? Of all fucking times. You know, so like, yo, I know the life, Calvin. It sucks dropping the ball constantly, man, in life. Pun intended, okay? But, like, get your head straight, bro. It's all right, man. You're in the NFL. You're a big motherfucker. And don't fucking Brandon Jacobs this shit, dude. Realize you're fucking big. Don't be a fucking idiot. You're fucking big. And take some notes of fucking Brandon Marshall. Grab a dude by the fucking throat and move him out of the fucking way and punch him and catch the fucking ball with your fucking hands. And if you are not bouncing a tennis ball off the wall right now as you listen to this, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. This is your contract year, bud. Get focused. Get out of your head. The ball's going to go to you. You're a big fucking target. Buffalo has been waiting for a receiver like you. You show up. I pick you to lead the team this year in receiving touchdowns. Earlier was it Curry? No, that was you. You know. So it's like, dude, I think he can do it, Mike. I really think he can fucking do it. But when I hear that his route running is lazy and all this other shit, it's like, how do you not get better? And then I hear, oh, you tore your fucking ACL. I hear all this, oh, he's fat. He's all this and that. And it's like, it all signs point to laziness. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, when you're dropping the ball, when your number's called, and you're not catching with your fucking hands, which is like play any fucking sport 101. Like, there's nothing that you catch shit against your chest. Nothing, Mike. So, thoughts?
Well, that's 25, Dave. Halfway through your rant, I decided to do 25 push-ups. Yes.
Mike, I would like to be the judge of what you call a fucking push-up.
Oh, no, I'm a push-up Nazi. Like,
no, you're not. What? Your chest touch, head up.
Chest touch the ground?
No, it's supposed to touch your fucking nutsack. What do you think it's supposed to touch?
Dude, my Johnson would touch the ground before my chest.
What, you're fucking not doing it right? What are you doing? What are you doing? Aren't you like a fucking seal? Again, what do you consider a fucking push-up, dude? Like, you bring me back to Jay Clinton to see this fucking moron trying to do a push-up. It's like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Dude, I would love to see your fucking... You and Jeff and I should have a fucking push-up contest, actually.
I'll tell you what, Dave. I want to have a push-up contest against you because
bitch, I will fucking crush you.
How many are you doing a day?
Yo, let's just talk about hockey goals. 4 goals in fucking... 4 games.
I would come out my first day and I'd put 4 goals on you. Just, I don't even know how to play the game. Okay,
Mike. Last podcast, if you missed podcast 198, we go into details about why Mike's knee sucks. So you can rewind and go to that one, or just press play so we get to listen.
For the record, I have been pounding the knee. Like, I've been doing squats, lunges. Today I was doing burpees. I did six different cycle sets, and each set involved 5 flights of stairs. So did 30 flights of stairs today on top of my burpees, and I did some crunches and my push-ups. Yo, I'm back on the grind, okay? Kelvin Benjamin needs to use his hands, and it's very simple. I mean, I used to be a receiver. I used to be a running back. It's simple, and it's like it boggles my mind because, like, I am not an NFL player, and I blew out my knee twice in high school, and I didn't even get to play, I didn't even get to play varsity ball because, like, I just hurt my knee.
You had no knees. Play.
So it boggles my mind that the receivers that you see, they don't, and it's not all of them. I'm not gonna call out all the receivers, but you don't see enough proper catching technique. It's either when a ball is below, your pinkies need to come in, and you need to get them in, and you need to catch low with your pinkies, your hands open, and it's like a soft. You're essentially soft. It's like a soft grab. Like, it goes in.
You're absorbing the impact. It's like catching. It's like catching anything. Catching a puck on a stick. You know what I mean? Like, just
anything that's chest high or above. You got that diamond, and that's like the peak. You have that nice diamond, your 2 index fingers and your thumb, and the nose of that ball. Ideally, if you were hoping for a spiral here, I mean, if it's not, it makes it a little more difficult to catch. But you have that diamond. That diamond goes all around. It literally can go from just about your stomach, just a little bit below your chest, and anything above there, all over, okay? And if it's in your field, and then once it leaves that field, then you can stretch it, but then you can go to one hand, and that's when, some of the more talented players with larger hands, like I myself, I could never really, like, I could make a one-handed grab, but, like, I couldn't do it like some of the plays you've seen in the NFL, because, I mean, if you were to compare my little tiny hands versus their hands, like, you'd be like, yeah, I could see that person being able to grab a football and you not. But it boggles my mind when I see these receivers so reluctant to use the best metric for catching the ball. And it's not your body, it's your hands. It's your hands, it's your hands, it's your hands. If you watch the ball all the way to the end into your hands, you're going to catch it more often than not. If you're not focused and you're not using your hands and you're using your body and you have too many things and you're worried about being hit and you're worried about this and you're worried about that, you're going to lose focus, lose eyesight of the ball, and then your body, your hands, they're not going to be where they need to be. You're going to drop it. And I think Kelvin's biggest problem is he doesn't get enough separation. And understand, he blew his knee out in football. So
he might not have the confidence in his knee.
It's not the confidence. He knows for the fact that he's not getting separation. Someone's always there. And if you look at all of his drops, someone is always there. It's not like he's wide open just dropping the ball. He's doing the Madden drop that drives me nuts. Where
oh my God!
You should catch it. Like you're just like, dude, I just hit you. It was a perfect pass, and then you took like a step and boom, you dropped it. Or the dude is out of position, and I put it where it's very catchable for you, and you should be able to frame yourself and to avoid the contact and catch the ball, but you're not. That's what he's doing. He's just not coming down with the ball when he needs to. And I think it's in his mind. I mean, it's like what Tiger had a problem with, until he finally won. Like, you have to get over that hurdle. And unfortunately, NFL, you don't get 5 years to do it. So he better do it sooner than later. But yeah, he needs to use his hands. And if they would listen to me, McDermott, Coach C, Coach D, whatever, you need to give the ball to my man Zay Jones. He's open. Make him the first read more often than not. Obviously, you got him on the field more than everybody else for a reason. Mm-hmm. Let's pump those target shares. I want this man. I want to be able to add him to my fantasy teams, but I can't do that if he's getting sub 5 targets a game. You're killing me, Smalls. We need targets.
I've been saying this to you lately too. I'm rooting Zay Jones on this year. I've been rooting him on this season. It's just, I mean, dude, what a fucking hard season debut. You know what I mean? Last year, rookie year, and like all the shit he went through in the off season, and it sounds to me as not a doctor and my amateur, not a doctor eye, of just like, I'm gonna make shit up here, maybe it sticks. Like, clearly, there's a lot of pressure, to being a pro athlete. So, he probably had a mental breakdown or something, obviously, so I can't say it has anything to do with football or not, but I can't assume it doesn't. His father's an NFL player, his brother's an NFL player, like, that's a football fucking family, and, he knows the right things to do, and when he's pretty much like showing Kelvin Benjamin where to fucking line up and all that shit, it's like, oh my God, dude, like, really? Like, come on, McDermott, this is your guy from Carolina. McBean, like, this is your guy, man. Like, it's not supposed to fucking suck, and the Panthers do better without him, like, it's just, I don't know, dude. Like, I'd rather have a Rod Streeter out there who works his fucking ass off and has chemistry with every quarterback that you put out there. But no, you can't even sniff the fucking team, But no, we got Kelvin Benjamin. It's like, like I said, I want him to be good. It's not that I ever want any player not to work out for the Bills. That's never the case for me. Like, clearly they believe in the person, and I just want to see them bridge a gap of communication and have everything come to fruition. So it's like, for Zay Jones, man, I'm rooting for him. I'm really rooting for him. He works hard, So he seems to be in the right spots. He seems to be open. And, closest thing we got to Robert Woods.
I mean, he's averaging 17.7 a catch. He's got a 60% catch rating. He's got a 25% contested catch percentage. I mean, small sample sizes here, though. My opinion, obviously, he's not going to average 17.7 for the season, but they need to. When you have somebody that's dynamic and they can do things with the ball, you have to find ways to get them the ball. They don't have to be, 20 yards downfield. They don't have to be flying down the sidelines. They don't have to be doing posts or streaks or corner routes. Have them do slants. Have them do drag routes. Have them do ins, outs, stuff where you can get the ball to him fast and then let him make the move. If it's a slant or a drag, he might be able to outrun some people, get to the edge, and go up the sideline.
Yeah, I want to underestimate his speed.
So, that's my own perspective. And, for the people that, disagree with it, look at who we got. I mean, I'm lobbying for who I think right now is performing the best amongst who we have. You know what I mean? If we had Josh Gordon, I'd say, obviously, get the ball to Josh Gordon. Okay, we don't. We have who we have. And right now, I think he's the best on the team. So you need to get him the ball more. For sure.
Bills, playbook was awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing what the coaches have in store. I am very, like I said, I'm going to wrap this podcast up. And thank you so much for, talking your usual shit, Mike, because it was great. Podcast number 199 as we're sitting here and you're, doing your thing. I titled this number 199, Bills Can Win at Lambeau Field. Mike Smith explains to Kelvin Benjamin how to catch.
Well, it's funny. I just pulled up Zay's 4.4 time, or 40-yard dash time.
Can I guess?
You'll go for it.
4.45.
That wasn't a guess, Dave.
Why?
You clearly knew that.
Then I must know it. Seriously, was it 4.45?
Yeah, it was 4.45.
Because I think Marquise Goodwin was like 4.37.
Who was?
Marquise Goodwin.
Oh, Goodwin. Yeah, it's too bad what happened to him. He's literally now destroyed my fantasy team. So,
dude, no, not for nothing, man. Speed is so fucking overrated, dude. It is so fucking overrated because like one move, Stevie Johnson is the poster child of let the kid play. What I liked hearing about Dable is he wants the receivers just to get to the spot at a certain time, and it's not necessarily always about X amount of steps. Does that make sense? Like Stevie Johnson and Shane Gailey had this thing with the receivers like, yo, I need you in this spot at this time. That's it. I don't care how you get there, just fucking get there.
Well, that's what the next thing, which we have yet to see from our quarterback. There's two things he has to do to continue to show that he can be an NFL quarterback. He's got to be able to throw over the middle of the field where there's a lot more time.
Oh, now we're adding shit to the plate. It was only two things fucking before the last game, which was read the defense. He's got to fucking throw the ball with accuracy. He did all that. He fucking did all that. So he pretty much won the game for the Bills. You're right.
I need to make a complete quarterback. Okay.
Okay. So now we have another two. Okay.
Two more things.
Two more things of fucking bullshit.
Sometimes you overlook.
What do you got? Like a fucking hat? He's got where you go? He's got where you? I like how he parts his hair. When his facial hair comes in, I'll fucking believe him. But he's got to get a tracksuit.
He's got to get a couple of tears next to his eye.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
He's got to be able to throw over the middle of the field. And then you also see the great quarterbacks. They throw the ball before their player even starts their break. He needs to be able to do that too.
Mike, he's playing fucking 2.5 games.
I don't care if
your man Peterman should still be in if it's up to you.
Go watch my boy Baker Mayfield, okay, and try to compare the two. Okay?
There's no point in talking about Baker Mayfield. The Bills never had a shot. I don't give a fuck. He's going to be awesome, great, cool. What can I fucking do about it if the Browns don't fucking Browns him? Okay, let's stop.
That's what you can hope for. You can hope for the Browns to Browns him, and they can ship him off to Buffalo. Look, I've had a couple of drinks tonight, so, you know.
I'd rather have Johnny Manziel. Joke!
Hey,
just kidding.
You know, that man's tearing it up in the Canadian League. That's not happening either, but, you know.
All right, well, have a good night. This has been fun, Mike, as always.
Hey, Dave, just to let you know, they just approved cross-platform play on Fortnite, so you now...
Dude, I thought you were going to say fucking Madden, and I was like, yeah. By the way, I
did try to come over and play Madden, and you had stuff to do.
When, today?
I don't know, the other day. You're like, got stuff to do.
Yeah, we said Thursday, and you just want to invite yourself over. How do you know I don't got some alone time planned?
I have no idea, Dave. I have nothing but alone time planned for myself. So
well, don't wear out your fucking palms, man. You need those for work.
I got nothing but alone time. No, I don't even like to. I got calloused hands, man. I don't have soft hands. So, but
no, just word of advice: just castrate yourself. Just fucking do it. Thank me later.
Yeah, I'm not gonna take that advice. Like I said, I have a game plan, and if that game plan fails, then I have a backup.
Yo, since you got a lot of time, there's this great movie you should watch.
What's it called?
You like Al Pacino?
Yeah, he's all right.
There's a movie called Cruising.
What's it called?
Cruising.
Is this Al Pacino porn? Because it sounds terrible.
No, it's a good movie. You should watch it.
Yeah, you can barely say it with a straight face, so I don't even think I can watch that. But, yeah, Dave, go get yourself an Xbox so that I can,
Why do I want that booty shit? Why do I want a Microsoft product?
Speaking of,
I'm good.
I had, like, the most ridiculous Madden game ever. So, for one, the final score was 9-0.
Mike, before you talk, are you going to think that people want to hear this?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Because it correlates to Josh Allen, because that was the Bills.
Oh, like how I threw 7 fucking interceptions with Josh Allen last night and against the Ravens, and they used Lamar Jackson, and the dude just fucking tore me up, and I'm just like ready to mount my controller.
Well, Dave, that was...
I'm just ready to feed it to my dog, fucking dip it in peanut butter. Be like, just eat this. Don't die yet. If you do, whatever. We'll save some money on dog food, but like, just stop.
I like to play with the Bills because they're my favorite team, so I try.
Yeah, dude, I do too, and I've lost fucking 30% more games because I'm using the Bills.
Dude, because Josh Allen's throws are terrible.
They're so bad.
I had the perfect play, and I got a skinny post, and then I have the it's a double move where the slot receiver does an outside and up route, okay? So he's trailing the skinny post. So dude is open, wide open. And he's literally about 3 yards from the end zone. So I'm down 6-0 right now, okay? And it's late. So I need this score, right?
Can I guess what he does with the ball? Can I take one? Can I play multiple choice? I'll play multiple choice. Let me play.
Well, I said I lost 9-0, so I'm pretty sure you know what happened.
Oh, okay.
What do you think he did with that ball? Because he was wide open, and I put it on him.
Did it give you the nice? I guess we're gonna give this to classic Ryan Fitzpatrick. Just slightly release it a little bit too far over the top and just fucking airmail it right to the safety, or we could call that a Peterman.
No.
Because that's what happens to me all the time.
We didn't airmail it. He just, when I tell you he was wide open, there was no one to airmail it to because there was nobody around. It was him. He was by himself. He was, hey, name's Zay Jones. I'm wide open. All you got to do is throw me the ball, bro.
And what happened?
And, he threw it about 5 yards in front of Zay Jones, and I did not score a touchdown. So
and dude, one thing I like that they did in Madden, like that serious, this is so corny, is I liked that a few years ago they made it where you have to set your feet to have a good throw. And
we set our feet, buddy.
And that's the thing is like, yo, my feet have been set with Josh Allen in this game.
No, they don't care.
And they don't give a fuck.
He will overthrow. Like, the crazy thing is, like, he can make some cool throws, and he's got 99 arm strength, so he can, like, bomb the ball down the field like nobody else in the game. But the simplest throws. Now, granted, that was a far more difficult throw because it was about 25 yards to the outside of the field. But anyways, dude was wide open. Like, you didn't like, at that point, you didn't have to be like accurate with the ball. Like, you just had to like put it in a realm where maybe a receiver could catch the ball, and that didn't happen. But yeah, his throws, and I keep on telling myself, I'm not going to beat the Bills. I'm not going to beat the Bills.
Me too. And then I scroll through the teams, and I'm like, I don't even know anybody like I want to use.
I'm just like, nah. You know what? I'm going to be the Bills. You know, maybe we can do something.
Because then you think, like, yo, I'm going to stomp the rest of the fucking Bills. Because I know online I've gotten my ass stomped with, like, the worst teams ever all the time. And it's like, I must be playing, like, a guy who actually plays for this fucking team or something because he's clearly really good.
Well, you know what I just did? You know what I do when I'm serious about my Madden?
Let me, dude, can I answer that?
Go ahead.
I don't want to answer that.
No, I go through and I set all my audibles on every single formation. So, like...
Yo, there's a new way to do that, right?
It's not a new way. You could literally... Well, honestly, the one thing...
There's a way to do it online. I think you could do it from the play screen. I was watching a video last night.
Yeah, you can literally set your audible for every single formation.
So, like, I could set from the live, I'm in game on offense, clock is ticking. I could call, like, a screen out of fucking nowhere.
Well, you have to already set that in your playbook. You have to go in and create your playbook. So you can modify your playbook and then use your modified playbook, you know, when you play online.
Yeah, because you're lucky they only got inside runs. So oh man, I can't wait to fuck your life up in Madden.
Some of the playbooks I use, depending on the formation, I'll have 2 runs and 2 passes. What? I'll have an inside run, an outside run, and then I'll have an underneath and an over top pass, or a combination of underneath and over top.
Now, how have you adjusted to the running? Because they always do this shit where you hit turbo, they peel off their blocks. And from what I'm seeing is you can't sprint to the edge. You can't sprint to the edge yet. You had to run with the stick first, and then when you make your first cut, then the turbo will kind of work.
Yeah, the running... Look, I'm not even a fan of any Madden player ever. So running is atrocious. Like, you got to do most of your work between the tackles, and you're right. You can't turbo anything. You just have to, you just have to go through.
There was a year they never had a turbo. Remember that? It was like 8 years ago. They took the turbo out so you learn how to run behind the blocks, and it was auto turbo.
Yeah, I actually like that because oh my god. Speaking of the same game, and it drives me nuts. You know, when you have that outside, it's either a sweep or you have a pulling guard or something, and he's out in front.
Sure.
And you see the defensive back right there, and you have your blocker right there. And then for no fucking reason at all, he peels back, and the guy that he would have blocked and allowed you to run for a touchdown fucking tackles you. It's like, I'm running to the edge, and that one year you're talking, you used to be able to point to who to block for.
Dude, that was so awesome.
Dude, it was great.
You could steer him with the other stick.
Exactly. It was fucking amazing. But now I'm running to the outside. You got your sweep, and I'm looking. I'm like, dude, this is fucking great. I got 2 blockers out in front. I got a safety in a fucking corner, and I got 2 blockers. I'm like, goodbye. Fucking lead blockers like, yeah, I'm just going to peel back and you're going to get fucking wrecked. So fuck you. So, and I'm like, that would never happen in the NFL. Like, if that's the NFL and this real football, that lineman, he not only is the happiest motherfucker on the planet for that moment, because he's looking at it, he's like, I got a fucking corner to block right now, and I'm gonna fucking train wreck this little motherfucker. And then you have another lineman or the tight end, whoever's motioning outside at that point. He's like, I got the safety, and then my running back can just sprint down the sidelines. But yeah, they have the shit all fucked up.
Dude, they're never the Bills always get the fucking shaft in Madden, and then it's like, when the and it's like they play favorites online. If you're using the Patriots, they always get the breaks. If you're playing against Antonio Brown, catches everything in sight. Like Odell Beckham, everything in sight. And it's like, dude, I was saying my friend RJ online the other night, and he had Tyreek Hill. We just sent him on a streak. He caught everything, and it's just like, I don't know, man. Like, they gotta go more on. Maybe they do, but because they are involved in Ultimate Team, they gotta get more involved with like an analytics site for the ratings, and I don't know, but yeah. So
yeah, it was a pleasure being on this wonderful podcast.
Well, Mike, it was great
as your co-host.
Yeah, dude, co-host Mike. I guess we'll fucking do that, and maybe I'll talk to you before the game on this thing, and we'll buzz some more audio. So if you have any topics, just shoot me a text, all right?
No problem, man. I got Baker Mayfield starting for me, so things are looking good.
Trade me Josh Allen.
You want Josh Allen? He is available.
All right, let me know. Which league?
Who? The 16-team league. You have, what is it, Brathard or whatever his name is?
Yeah, dude, I really need a quarterback.
Yeah. Why didn't you pick up Josh Rosen or something? Like,
I didn't know.
You didn't think to like say this guy is really gonna suck. I literally rather take the rookie over this guy. At least he's gonna be slinging the ball like, that guy's gonna be like managing a game.
Mike, the next podcast is podcast 200. I can't wait to talk about this again. What a great idea to have like a little cliffhanger for the audience. Ding dong. Yay.
Ding dong. Yay. I'm going to finish my backs.
Have your fun, bud. Have a good night. Thank you, Mike.
I told you I was going to finish my backs.
Oh, I don't know what the hell you just said. So, as always, that's Mike Smitty. Find him on Twitter at Fantasy Smitty. Get involved. Follow him, please.
Yeah,
he needs more than. He's got 19 followers. We want to try to get him into 22.
I'm pumping numbers because I'm catching followers on the daily.
Are you really?
Not exactly not literally on the daily, but in days I'm getting multiple followers. So
you know what, man? Why don't you make some flyers? Why don't you make some flyers and learn how to fucking promote yourself? I'll make you a little, or I'll text it over to you. I'll draw it with my fucking foreskin on a little platter on my phone, and you could just hold up a Twitter sign. Follow me, Fantasy Smitty, like the Little Caesars dude or the Liberty Tax people. Just on the curve. Follow me for all the Bills spots.
You know what?
I'll let you borrow my jumpsuit.
Dancing Derek? I could have Dancing Derek out there for me.
Oh my god. Yo, Dancing Derek's a hot fucking commodity, yo. That dude's mad money, man. He really carved a niche out for himself. So I don't know, man. Yo, what's his number? You know him?
Dave, I happen to know a lot of people. Okay?
Do you really know that motherfucker?
If I was gonna,
would he come on the podcast? Could I hire that dude?
Well, if anybody was gonna come on the podcast,
would you compete with him? Can we get you in a contest?
Oh, he would destroy me in a dance off. But if I was gonna get someone on the podcast,
let's just do DDR. Me, you, and him, and we'll get drunk.
I would shoot for J-Mac.
Anyways, I gotta go.
Yeah, you'd want J-Mac anyway. It's got much more of a following.
Anyway, so this has been Numb Bills Fan Podcast number 199. I'm your host, David Palermo. That's Mike Smith, brought to you by Punch Drunk Sports. Follow them. Punch Drunk Sports is part of All Things Comedy, and they the podcast network All Things Comedy, which is owned by Bill Burr. And if you missed it, episode number 300 of Punch Drunk Sports had Bill Burr on it. Pretty rad episode. And they just got picked up. All Things Comedy Podcast Network just got picked up by Comedy Central. So shout out to them. And it's great to be a part of Punch Drunk Sports Podcast Network as well. So that's it. Follow along on numbillsfan.com, Twitter, Instagram. Have any ideas, shoot them my way. And occasional Facebook Live videos coming as always. So tune in. Mike, anything else? No? Okay, good. Have a good night.